The definition of insanity, according to Albert Einstein, is doing the same thing over and over again but expecting a different result. This is I Am Podcast. On this podcast, you will learn how to choose the result you get in life by taking control over your thoughts, your words, and your actions. My name is Ezekiel Ntesat. I am your host. On this episode, I shall be looking at generational choices that we wrongly say is generational causes. So I titled this episode Generational Choices. This episode is sponsored by www.statusng.com, Nigeria Best Startup Directory. You are not suffering from generational causes, but generational choices. A drastic change in the way you do things will change the result you get in life, and most assuredly, the result of many generations after you. Generational choices are the daily words, actions, habits, and idiosyncrasies we exhibit, most of which we unconsciously picked from our parents. Foundational choices, on the other hand, are the words, actions, habits, and idiosyncrasies we developed or consciously and unconsciously picked from others and grew up with them. These habits ultimately dictate our ways of doing things, and the things we do so often produce the result we get in life. For example, if you are a diligent person, chances are your parents or someone with huge influence on you while growing up was diligent. If you struggle in life, chances are your parents or some authority figures around you struggled most times in life. The same way, your current habits and behaviors will influence generations after you. This is what I call generational and foundational choices. I have for so many years of my life struggled with indecision. I tried finding out the root cause, and the only picture that comes to my mind is the picture of my father having difficulty with women, friends, and money, and his soul rest in peace. He had 6 of us from 5 different women. I didn't know anyone as his best friend, and for over 20 of his last year on earth, he was without a wife. He may be unlucky with women, but behind the lack of love is his inability to decide and stay with a woman regardless of the challenge. My father had what I choose to call sporadic income. You know, this kind of money that comes in with small wings, but quickly grew larger wings the moment it entered his hands. That was my dad's experience with money for as long as I can remember. I had believed my father was under a curse, so I inquired from my grandma before she left and my aunt. The story had it that his parents were not always happy with him. But looking back, his father, my grandpa, had issues with women and money too. He had 2 wives, divorced my grandma, and the other woman gave him lots of trouble. My grandpa was a prince who rejected the throne and couldn't afford to build a decent house for himself. Indecision affected my dad's finances. He was never really sure whether he wanted to be a police officer, a pastor, or a politician. Maybe he was cursed with the P alphabet: police, pastor, politician. He didn't stop the generational choice processes from his father. I picked up these habits and behaviors without him saying any word to me about them. And if I do nothing drastic about them, my children will surely pick them up too. This is I Am Podcast. This episode is sponsored by www.statusng.com, Nigeria Best Startup Directory. When we were children, most of us never had our parents sit us down and tell us what to do. We simply do what we saw them do and say what we had them say. Those with hard-working parents find hard work easy, because when they were younger, their parents simply asked them to join them in the shop or go to the farm. In my case, fishing or some other things else. When they wanted to go join their friends to play, the parents simply gave them another task to do. Over time, it became part of them, and soon their parents let them handle things in the shop or go to the farm alone. Those who have difficulty with hard work are those whose parents say okay to them the moment they insisted, either with a cry or some other tantrums. For you that like to quarrel, beat the hell out of your children, or indulge your children, whose picture are you seeing right now? How about those who believe that geckos, cockroaches, or millipedes are sent by their enemies? How about those who yells at their children each time they are asked for some money, or women who constantly tell their children to go ask for money from their dad because they don't have money? The last point is one reason many women depend entirely on their husband, their father figure, for money. Many of us tell the story of how we thought our parents or other authority figures hated us when they were hard on us as children. But as we become adults, we now realize they meant well for us. Sometimes they told us how their own parents were hard on them too, and didn't want to be different on their children either. These are generational choices. For some of us, we now believe there's a better way to teach our children, and so had stopped the generational choice processes or some of it. Let me inform you that you have just started another generational choices journey. It may turn out to be good or otherwise, but know that the destiny of many will depend on it. How to stop unwanted generational choices? Number 1, take some quiet time to reflect on your life, dreams, and current situation of things. Number 2, take a step back and link your current life with that of your parents or other authority figures you had over your life. Number 3, identify those things they regularly did or said in your presence and evaluate them. Number 4, make a list of the unwanted choices, words, habits, and behavior, and stay aware of these so you catch yourself doing or saying them. Number 5, make a list of what you should do or say instead each time you catch yourself doing or saying these things. Number 6, make sure you do or say this new thing each time you catch yourself. If you do this long enough, the new set of thoughts, words, and actions will replace these unwanted choices. This is the most important part. Number 7, seek for help through prayer or from others if you must. I'm not talking about deliverance, but if that is what you think will help you, then go get it. A word of caution: it took several years for these generational choices and foundational choices to take root. It won't go overnight. Stay true to your decision to change your generational and foundational choices, because you are not only going to change your circumstance in life, but that of many generations after you. Now to episode 4 affirmation. Say this with me: I become what I do repeatedly. Let's say that again. I become what I do repeatedly. Repeat this affirmation every morning, when you wake, and every night before you go to sleep for the next 7 days. Doing so will help you remain conscious of your words, your actions, and your idiosyncrasies. This is I Am Podcast. This episode is sponsored by www.startersng.com, Nigeria Best Startup Directory. Thanks for listening, and remember to click the subscribe button.